John Joseph should be baptized in the faith of the church which we all have professed. John Joseph, I baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
There may be many larger iron ore operations in Western Australia, but there are none so breathtakingly beautiful as Yampi Sound, 2,100 kilometres north of Perth. Part of the 800 islands which make up the Buccaneer Archipelago. The grey cliffs of its islands rise almost vertically out of the tropical sea. From two of these islands, Koolan and Cockatoo, more than 3 million tonnes of iron ore is mined annually. As the plane approaches Koolan airstrip, golfers scatter. Later, over a couple of beers, they proudly relate that the airstrip you've just landed on is the longest fairway in the world. This is the Australia of vast distances, where Indonesia is closer than Perth, and people think nothing of flying hundreds of kilometres for a one-day visit. Iron ore features large in Yampi Sound's history. It was near Koolan Island in the 1880s that lumps of ironstone were first taken from the beach by pearling luggers as ballast. Today, the pearlers have gone, but the iron ore is in more demand than ever. On Cockatoo Island, the older of the two operations, more than 1 million tonnes of ore is quarried annually, while here on Koolan, production amounts to 2 million tonnes. Because the ore outcrops in the surface, quarrying at Yampi Sound is an open-cut operation with spectacular terraces of rich reds, blacks and greys. Huge electric shovels and front-end loaders hack and gouge their way through the freshly blasted falls of iron ore. They feed what seems to be a never-ending line of 45-ton dump trucks which cart the ore away to the crushing plant nearby. Crusher, huge lumps of ore are reduced to manageable pieces the size of a tennis ball, so that they can be easily consumed in a blast furnace. From the jaws of the crusher at Koolan, the ore goes into a storage bin and then to the wharf. Much the same process takes place at Cockatoo Island. islands produce high-grade ore which assays between 66 to 69% iron content. Once it was all shipped to BHP Steelworks on the east coast. Now export contracts are the main objective, and a large amount of Yampi ore has seen its way into the blast furnaces of Japan. Ships like the Moss Lane are regular visitors to Yampi. The Koolan shiploader can handle 3,000 tons of ore an hour, and even at the lowest spring tides, there's at least 14 meters of water beside the wharf. With 3 large electric shovels, 2 front-end loaders, and as many as a dozen 45-ton dump trucks, maintenance of equipment on Koolan Island alone requires a large team. Because of the distance from mainland centres, the machine shop has been well equipped and work is plentiful for fitters and turners, machinists, mechanics, electricians and welders. Safe working procedures are strictly adhered to in all operations at Yampi Sound. A full-time safety officer keeps a close eye on all operations and trains newcomers in safe working methods. But there's always medical attention available should an accident occur. Work over for the morning, the men return from the quarry for a 3-course luncheon in Koolan's modern cafeteria. Here the food is freshly prepared each day from supplies procured in Perth, Derby and Carnarvon. Bread is baked daily. For children at Yampi, a large part of their learning comes from the environment in which they live. Both Cockatoo and Koolan have plenty of wildlife, including the locally named booty rat, which isn't a rat at all, but a small marsupial. The healthy suntanned faces of the school children reflect the climate of Yampi, and they tend to become closer to nature here than many of their city counterparts. On both islands, the West Australian government has a primary school, but after the children reach 13, they either leave for mainland schools or take a correspondence course. A company grant plus government assistance takes a lot of the sting out of the cost of their education. In the meantime, the flowers, birds and animals of Yampi provide an interest out of school. Birds abound and quite often build their bowers within feet of someone's cottage. Quite unperturbed about living with a human neighbour from whom they scavenge many of the bright trinkets which decorate the bower. The sea also plays a big part in the lives of the people at Yampi Sound. Not only did it lead to the discovery of iron ore in the islands, but it's now used to carry the iron ore to its destination and as a source of pleasure for the island people. It seems that virtually everyone on Cockatoo and Koolan has a boat, and people water ski, skin dive or hunt for shells around the islands of the Buccaneer archipelago. The waters of Yampi Sound are home to a variety of sea life, and for the angler, the large supply of snapper, rock cod, trevally and many other fish make fish stories almost believable. As well as fishing, the islands of the